All I can tell y'all is that it's about to go down.
Yo, all right. Welcome to Southeastern, Minnesota's #1 podcast for high school sports. This is Tiger Nation and Beyond with your host, straight out of Stewartville, Adam Peterson.
Hey, what's up, Tiger Nation, and welcome back. This is Tiger Nation and Beyond, season number 5, episode number 4, and we get our first Tuesdays with Mueller. Gosh, what a week. Week 1, we went on the road to face the 5A Mankato East Cougars, and I can't wait to bring in my co-host here for the fall. But just like any, good MLB player walk-up song or maybe a WWF entrance, I feel like he should have his own entrance song here. Let's go! Big win by Coach Mueller. Woo! Let's go. How's it going, Coach?
Bet. It's good. Thanks for the walk up there.
Hey.
Not sure I'm deserving of that just yet or not, but hilarious as always. Thank you. No, we're doing great. It's I talked to the players pregame a little bit about how it's a kind of, this is the culmination of 9 months of really hard work. And we talk about like redefining hard work in our program and what that looks like. It's different for us than what most programs do. But through the the winter and the spring off seasons, and then our summer time together the last 2.5 months, those preseason practices and everything, just kind of the focus and the discipline. And the hard work that went into that time kind of culminated, in that Friday. And so we just talked about making sure we're taking advantage of that opportunity, and that nothing worthwhile is going to come easy. And so how after the game was done, we talked about that feeling was because of the hard work and the time and the passion and everything that they poured into themselves, their teammates, and our program. Kind of coming to fruition there on Friday night. So, it doesn't always go that way. And we try to surrender the outcome as much as we can, but boy, it sure is fun when it turns out your way.
What was the feeling getting off the bus? I mean, the bus ride there, being back in the season. I mean, I remember we were talking about it last year after the 2020 season. Then we went to the 2021 season, and the first guy that came to mind, obviously, was Alex Wood and the energy he brought. Was that intensity, was that energy there before the game? Could you feel it?
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned it. I did, for sure. I did try to just take a moment, like as we were lined up for the national anthem, was kind of the first time I felt like I kind of tried to just catch my breath for a second, be present and just kind of look around and take it in. And it's like, oh man, we're here, we're ready to go. Because up to that point, it's like thinking about the next thing and prepping and making sure everyone is ready to go and where they need to be and everything is set. So I tried to just soak that in there for a second, and then, the national anthem is done and we're kick off and it's rolling again. But we, it's funny, we, in our program, a little bit different kind of what our pregame looks like, in terms of that build up to kickoff. We try to slow cook everything as best we can. We don't necessarily believe in a ton of like yelling and screaming an hour and a half before the game, because that's just energy, emotional, mental energy expended that we would rather have in the 48 minutes from kickoff to the end of the game. So guys I think it was kind of that, that kind of just that quiet energy, and you could feel the, that we were ready to go. We were locked in, we were focused. That's kind of where I would rather our guys be at. And then we'll just slow build that thing right up until kickoff, and then we'll turn it loose for 48 minutes. Yeah. And it was fun to kind of see it that way. The other team locker room was not too far from us, and there was a guy that was like our liaison, I guess. You could say that opened locker rooms for us and make sure we knew where we were going and where we needed to be. And he just mentioned, he's like, well, I hope you don't mind, like, our guys get pretty loud and wild before the game. And then he kind of saw us doing our mindset, being present, like literally laying on the ground, no talking, into our RPR, like wake up. And he's like, boy, you guys are guys are kind of different, huh?
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, we are
Yeah.
a little different. We like it that way. So it
Yeah.
was pretty cool to kind of have someone else who had never seen us go through our pregame routine,
Sure.
like just recognize that, it's a little unorthodox maybe, but we feel like better prepares them for success.
Yeah, you guys are a little bit different, a little calm. Then you put 49 points on them. Let's get to the game. You're just incredible. First quarter, knocking the rust off. We do go down 3-0. I gave Alex Hain a hard time. Like, what are you letting 40-yard field goals? Our offense was incredible. Defense, though, outstanding. 133 total yards, giving up 63 pass, 70 on the run. What I thought was best about that defensive effort. So we'll break it down in a little bit, but I mean, 3 points, 3-0 going into the second quarter, and then you run off in the next 2 quarters, 49 unanswered points. Just tell me about your thoughts on the game before I break down the stats and maybe some plays and some highlights.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
So it was, we also talked about just first game jitters, right? A little bit. We had guys really with their first significant varsity experience. So we kind of knew as a staff we might have to weather some early moments, mistakes, or just errors, mental errors, not necessarily playing as fast as what they're capable of because they're getting those butterflies out. And so we knew that may be the case early on. And we talked about that a little bit with the players, just have a disciplined response. There's going to be mistakes. There might be early turnovers, things like that to kick off the season. And I think that's important to just be prepared for that. We talked about here are situations that are going to happen in a football game. We don't know when they're going to happen. But they're probably going to happen. And so you have to be ready to respond to that. And so I was just super proud of the way then we responded to not necessarily having, what everyone wants, a fast start and things not necessarily quite going our way early on. I'd say, the defense you mentioned, just a huge, kudos to Coach Hain and that side of the ball and all those guys over there playing, allowed us to kind of weather some of those slow drives for us early offensively. The first 2 drives before we got things figured out and kicked in, didn't allow them to have really any momentum, and gave us the time and the opportunity to get settled in and get comfortable with what we were doing. So a little bit of a slow start, but then after we took possession there after that field goal, drove down and put it in the end zone, and floodgates opened up from there. So Aiden Helder, first varsity start as a quarterback, had the early interception. Again, couldn't be more proud of him, how he bounced back, after making that mistake. And he'll tell you it wasn't his best ball. And again, that, it's going to happen. So just super proud of him, how he bounced back from that to go on to throw for 160, 170 yards, 3 touchdowns, and really lead us, the offense the rest of the night. So just great job across the board there.
I'll tell you, when I was thinking about that first quarter, Crystal, she always rolls her eyes at me when I watch these games because I get super intense. I had 3 TVs going. I had yours on the big screen, obviously. I had Lacrosse Logan for our nephew on the other big screen, and then a smaller TV I brought out for the Byron Cass-Mandeville game because, just in case you call me for a report or something, I got to be. But when I was watching, there was a 4th down play. We were driving towards our end zone, and I was like, what a call by Mueller. He threw a screen pass. It was like an all-out blitz. It was like the perfectly timed to sick ink, picked up the first down. How good does it feel when you call a play and you're like, oh, that worked out. Couldn't have been more perfect.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. It's a lot of fun as a play caller because you put those things together during the week in terms of game plan. You rep them during the week, and then to see that execute the way you want it to happen in the game. It's a pretty special feeling. We knew they like to bring pressure on 3rd and 4th downs, at least from last year's tape. They had brought some pressure on 3rd and 4th down. So we knew we would probably have an opportunity to get some of our screen game going when that opportunity arose. And they had brought some pressure up to that point too. So kind of one of those things too, it's a feel thing, it's that chess match during the game. You kind of feel, oh, they might bring pressure here. And so that was my play.
Old Coach Mueller comes out with the Queen's Gambit with the chess move.
And it worked out. So yeah, that was a great execution then on our guys' part in that phase of the game.
Just beautiful. And then you talked about shortly after that, unfortunately, interception at the goal line. But I always like to try to take a silver lining. And I will admit, I woke up early on Saturday morning to watch all the plays on Huddle. I like to sometimes watch them 2 or 3 times. And that play, when I watched it, I wanted to see exactly what happened. And, it is what it is. But what I took from that play is Carter Mueller running that guy down. The way he closed the distance reminded me of, 30 years ago when Darrell Green did it. I think it was 2 or 3 seasons ago when DK Metcalf. It wasn't the length of field that he ran him down. But if you watch that play over again, and I wrote it down here, he closed the speed. The speed from your team was evident, I'll say, from the team. But he closed the distance so darn fast. And the effort, he could have given up on that. He was in the end zone. He was 15, 20 yards away. He closed the distance. That guy picked up, maybe an extra 5 or 10.
Yeah, and that's the difference, right, between them taking that back for, what would have been a much more momentum-changing play had they took it for 6 versus making the tackle, making them earn, their yards and their points, and they ended up getting their only points of the night off of that opportunity. So great job, like Carter, hawking him down, and then the defense coming out and making sure it didn't blow up too much in our face. After that. So
speaking of Carter Mueller, I believe it was on the next drive. I posted it Twitter because I was just in awe from the athleticism and the moves. And I had mentioned it. I said, Coach Pops, I was standing by him up in the booth, and I'm assuming he was talking to me when he said this, but he said, keep an eye on Carter Mueller. He's going to be special for us, or something along those lines. And then I believe it was the first time he touched the ball. It was like 58-yard catch and run. He hopped over a guy, cut it over to the other sideline. Can you tell me about that play, that athleticism he showed, the speed again? I mean, incredible.
So that play call was actually the second time we called that during the game. That was actually our second play call of the game on our first possession of offense. And we had him wide open, and their defensive end did a nice job getting his hand up and knocking the ball down. And so we knew we could come back to that pretty quickly because I didn't think that they were going to adjust or defend that formation any differently than the way they did the first time. So that was after they had scored that field goal. I think the quarter changed, and we were going back the other way. Mm-hmm. And so I said, hey, this was the second play of the game. It's going to be wide open. Just Aiden, get that ball and rip it to him quick. And sure enough, then, it was a 5-yard throw that Carter Mueller turns into a 60-yard play, puts us down, I think, inside the 5-yard line, and punched it in from there. And like you said, then after that, I think everyone just settled down. It was like, yeah, okay, we're going to be okay. We just needed someone to make that first play and get us settled in there. So yeah, kudos to, again, Carter Mueller making a big play. You're going to see a lot of those this year.
And the other thing I noticed about that particular play, and I noticed it most of the game, and I'm sure you probably concentrated on in practice, I'm sure Coach May hammers it, is the blocking downfield from your wide receivers. You got linemen making the run. I mean, everybody, it's almost like defense where they say gang tackling, except you got gang blocking out in front. So
that's right. Well, yeah, we talk about that all the time too. We're going to turn, if you watch us play, we'll push the ball vertically down the field and take our chances when we think we have them. But most of the time it's, most of our throws are relatively under 10 yards, and we allow that's why, we talk about our speed and our athleticism.
Racehorses.
Just allow the racehorses, right, to go be athletes in space. So we'll take the easy throws and let those guys turn a 5-yard gain into a 50. And it's because of great blocking down the field. And that's what we talked about pregame. That was one of my keys to the offense was we're gonna have a lot of easy throws underneath. It's on you guys out on the edge to block for each other to, turn those 5-yard throws into 50-yard gains. So, and if you watch that back, the first guy down to celebrate with Carter after he gets tackled, Bryant Rindles. Is the first guy down the field, 50 yards down the field. That's awesome. Hauling his butt to get down there and pick him up. He was looking for a block the whole way and didn't necessarily find one, but then he was there to celebrate. And so that's part of we talk about finishing a play offensively and defensively. And that's a component of what we talk about. What does it look like to finish a play? It's picking your teammates up off the ground and celebrating with them. And so Bryant was the first one to do there. And it was awesome.
Oh, man. And then, like you said, the floodgates opened. I believe 4 total touchdowns for Owen Sickink. I called him our Swiss Army knife. He's the most electric player on our team, in my opinion. Over 150 all-purpose yards, 4 total touchdowns. The Moose package was working. Just outstanding night by Owen Sickink and the offensive line opening up holes for him.
Yeah, and he's a guy, we're just going to be able to lean on all year long. We're trying to be it's been fun for me as an offense coordinator and a play caller to try to find creative ways to get him the ball in so many different facets, not just put him at the super back and hand it off to him. How else can we split him out as a wide receiver, get him involved in the pass game, in the screen game, in the run game. It'll make our offense more difficult to defend if we can move him around, because he is a guy that you have to account for, because if you don't, he's going to torch you. So it's been fun for me this year to find creative ways to move him around. And you saw that then on Friday night, he had, I think 3 touchdowns on the ground, traditional Moose package, just downhill runs, more out of our shotgun out in space, creating plays out of the backfield. We split him out as a wide receiver through a go ball to him that he just literally ran past the guy.
Yeah.
On
what a ball by Helder.
Yeah, great throw on that one down our sidelines. That was fun because we I wouldn't say drew in the dirt before the play, because I think that was right after a turnover by our defense. And we again had seen some things against our bunch formation, how they were defending, and we were motioning Owen outside of that, and it really puts them in a bind on what they're going to do with him out there. And so we had made a slight tweak to how we had run it during the week based on how they were defending it. So we quickly talked, on the sideline before we went out to run that play, and and bang, they execute and 6 points on the board. So
it was beautiful.
It was a lot of fun.
Speaking of one thing I talked about, balance. The balance you showed on offense. What did you are you keeping track on the sideline? 338 total yards, 169 yards on the ground, 169 through the air. Just incredible. But not only that, also balance in the backfield in terms of getting guys the ball. It was great to see Braden Nelson back there. I thought, years ago, I always talk about Johnson and Holt, kind of that thunder and lightning. And it's like you kind of got 3 storms. You got thunder, which is Braden Nelson coming downhill. Then you got right in the middle, it's thunder and lightning with Owen Sickink, right? Like he could do the Moose package. He also can get out and make guys miss. But then you got Carter Mueller, all speed. Like the number of weapons, but great to see Braden Nelson back there. He looks like a good size and running downhill. He had 10 carries, 63 yards. Owen Sickink, 10 carries, 51 yards. So. Yeah, great balance between those two, right? And then we talk about that with our offense too. It's my, part of my mission as a coordinator to make sure the defense has to account for all 5 eligibles on the field at any given time. Like, any guy is a threat to score on any given play. I don't want them to just be able to say, oh, if we shut this guy down or worry about this guy, then they're not going to be able to move the ball on us. And I think that kind of showed on Friday. We were able to have that balance between carries in the backfield, between targets, in the passing game, and then moving guys around in different formations and different spots. You had to account for everybody. So it was great to see that balance between everybody this year. And then we just talk about letting that scoreboard take care of itself. Yeah, and it sure did. So. Speaking of weapons, I would be remiss if I didn't mention another guy that was really impressive when he got the ball out in open space. Parker Wangan, as a wide receiver, really impressed me with the way he could move. And, I know he's still learning the positions, but he came out, I got it right here. Two catches, 32 yards, and he had that 1 touchdown. Incredible.
Yeah, it was fun to get him out there and in the mix. And I think it's going to kind of be, night to night, almost a different guy each week. It's going to, Coach May does a great job with those wide receivers, and we feel really comfortable rolling out 6 or 7 different guys at any given point during the football game. So it's most likely going to be the beneficiary of whoever happens to be on the field in the right place at the right time for that play call, that it's going to get a ball and go make a play on it. And the fun part about it is those guys are such great teammates. They don't really care or have any ego when it comes to who's out there at a time and who gets the ball and who gets the score. So they do just a great job kind of rolling through there and sharing those opportunities. And it just allows them to play fresh and play fast and be explosive when they're out there, because all those guys are playing on the other side of the ball defensively too. So they do a great job just sharing the load there. and making plays when they have their opportunity.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, the beneficiary of who's open at the right time. I think you got to tip your hat to Aiden Helder, 10 of 15, 169 yards, 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers. The way he was able to just, pick guys up and make the smart throw, I really appreciated that. Before we get into Coach Haynes' defense and the phenomenal job they did, I did have to text Coach May and say, what in the world happened on that special teams play where it was a punt? We were on punt return, and their guy touched it. Owen Sicking picked it up, and he had the entire left side of the field all green, and he said it was an inadvertent whistle. Apparently, I was like, gosh, he could have racked up another touchdown another way. But it is what it is.
A touchdown the other way, and the refs acknowledged it. They what happened? The rule is if the kicking team has the first touch on the ball as it's rolling on the ground after the punt. The play isn't necessarily supposed to be whistled dead because the ball is still live as it's moving until the ball comes to rest. The play is not technically over, but because they touched it, the kicking team, technically it's down at that spot. So anything that happens after that touch and when the ball comes to rest is basically fair game for the offense.
No risk.
So it's kind of right. So no risk. Like even if we picked it up and fumbled it, it would still be our ball at the point of the first touch, unless whatever we do with the ball is a better field position, I guess you could say, result from what we do with the ball. So Coach May, absolutely on top of the situation, is yelling at Owen, pick it up, pick it up. And Owen knew, because they had talked about it during the week here. Just kind of a reminder, hey, if this scenario happens, be aggressive and go get it, because it's a win-win for us. And sure enough, Owen, on the spot, picked that thing up and would have walked into the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
Their team had kind of stopped on the play.
Yep.
And unfortunately had a whistle blow. And so the play was dead.
Did you have to call Coach May and Coach Pops down on that one, or?
They were frustrated because, like, again, you're not going to have, we might not have that opportunity again the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So to be able to take one to the house on special teams is always special for those guys. And so, unfortunately it didn't work out, but hopefully with the guys that we have back there, another opportunity will come.
Now I got to talk about Coach Haynes' defense. Otherwise, he won't tune in anymore. Incredible. I asked him, I said, gosh, with the defensive, performance you guys had, we should split screen and have you on one side and Coach Mueller on the other. And he said he has a face for radio, so he didn't join us. But just incredible. I mean, when I was looking at these stats, 133 yards, I talked about that, 63 yards passing, 70 yards rushing. But more importantly, I think what I saw is the other team, 1 of 10 on third down, and I think 0 of 3 on fourth down. Getting off the field is huge for our defense. And I think that was my biggest takeaway, is just getting off the field on third and fourth down.
Yeah, no, it was huge. And it was because we did such a good job on first and second down too.
Sure.
We talk about that offensively. Our third down conversion percentage is going to be the best when we do a good job on first and second down. We're not going to, no, us and anybody else is going to struggle if you have a lot of 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s.
Yeah.
It's just tough to be consistently and convert those plays. Same thing on the other side of the ball. If it's a lot of 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3s, defensively, that's really tough because the playbook is still pretty wide open for an offense, and it's a lot more difficult to defend. Coach Haynes was able to be super aggressive on third downs on Friday because it was a lot of 3rd and medium, 3rd and long to go situations, and guys could just play fast and aggressive, and made it really difficult on them offensively. So, yeah, it's just a credit to our guys being really, really good in the early downs, and then making plays on third downs when they needed to get off the field. So, Coach does an awesome job with those guys. I start to get a little jealous because they got all their.
I see that
their hardware.
Look at that
in the background that those guys get pumped up about, and just a ton of energy on that side of the ball. And I'll get guys that say, Coach, can I just focus on defense now this week? I
want to wear the chain.
What are you talking about, man? Like, and that's it's a credit to the culture that he's built on that side of the ball. And I, on Friday especially, and things were going good, so I was able to do it. But I felt bad because after the game, I said, Alex, like, I legitimately, I probably only saw half of our defensive plays on Friday because I knew he had everything locked in. And he's like a head coach, taking care of that. I was able to work with Coach Nats and our offensive guys that were not on the field, just kind of problem solving through things offensively to make sure we were locked in and ready to go the next time we got on the field. So it allows me as an offense coordinator to just kind of be an offensive coordinator when we're on defense, and I don't necessarily have to worry so much about what's going on out there because he's got it locked down. So
Yeah, you had some big plays. The one that I saw that I want to talk about. I don't know if he hurt the quarterback on this, but man, 15th play of the game, play number 15, Colton Parker came out of nowhere and just demolished the guy. Did that quarterback play, or did he come out? Or I mean, he got smoked.
He played. He had a long. I would imagine he was pretty sore when he woke up on Saturday morning. We laid a couple nice hit sticks on him.
Yeah.
On Friday, Colton Parker probably delivered more than anybody else. His hair was on fire, flying around on the field. It was a lot of fun to watch the game film and watch our defense. Just 11 guys flying to the ball, and usually Colton Parker is one of the first ones there. So had an outstanding game on defense, just leading. Through knowing what was going on, just getting guys in the right calls in the right spots at the right time, and then executing his job, and then making a bunch of plays when he had the opportunity. So definitely led our defense in that energy department, and some big hits on Friday.
Yeah, Isaac Larson led the way, 5.5 tackles for him. Colton Parker, we talked about him, three tackles. One of those was a half sack. Peyton Byrne, 3 tackles, 1 sack. Carter Mueller even had a tackle for loss. And then Tor Lunas, I believe, down at there, was it their goal line that he got a sack?
Yeah, I thought for a second
safety.
It was safety. And did a great job. They I don't know if they had like a bust in their protection, whatever, but he put a great move on the interior lineman there that was supposed to be pass protecting against him, and almost had a free run at the quarterback, and then just did a great job at the point of attack. Sometimes that's tough, on some of those D linemen, they get an open space there. And I think then that just goes again to the credit to the athletes that we have on the field. They're not just big. They're not hogs. They're big cats, right? They're athletic and explosive, and they're able to make those plays in space. And so, Tor wrangled them down there about the half-yard line. I thought we were going to get some more points on the board.
Yeah.
For the defense, Coach Hain gave me a hard time when we got back after the game. He's like, we really didn't need the offense. Defense outscored them 7-3.
Is that right? Yeah.
On Friday night, and I said, "Oh yeah, whatever."
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes the rest of the year. But no, they did an outstanding job getting the score. That's huge too. When the defense can create points and create the turnovers. We saw that in the second half of that football game. That was the one gripe that Coach Hain had at halftime with our defense, that we haven't gotten the ball out yet.
Yeah.
Because we emphasize that so much in our program, and then sure enough, it wasn't technically defense, I guess, but opening kickoff of the second half, getting the ball out, instant, about, getting what you asked for immediately, and then offense being able to capitalize on that and put it in right away, and then defense getting 2 more in the second half. The big one, Jace Klugs, where he just snatched that thing out of nowhere, did a great job playing center field safety and kind of running that the tight end down, I think it was, or whoever their slot was, kind of the number 2 receiver, and making a play right on our sidelines, fingertip grab, and then putting a move on the quarterback and putting it in the end zone. So it was, we talk a lot about just that energy throughout the course of a football game, and letting that snowball in our favor, and feeding each other through that. And that's what it felt like, is that energy just continued to build as soon as we came out from halftime, and was all downhill in that second half. So it was a lot of fun for us and our guys playing football on Friday night.
Hey, it was a lot of fun for me watching too. You talk about the defense scoring points. I'm sure Coach Conger, Iowa fan, can appreciate how a safety or two can change the course of a game against South Dakota State. Incredible. Looked like baseball score. But you kind of alluded to Jace Klug. Also, Ridge Hats blasted through the line, got a tackle for a loss. I mean, got those younger guys in the fourth quarter, got an opportunity. I think we've talked about this before, where, those games, if you can get them in, get in control, get ahead, and then rest your guys and give those other guys an opportunity in the fourth quarter, because they work hard too during the week. Really nice to see the younger guys getting in there and getting some action.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's always fun when everybody plays. That's our goal on a Friday night. We want everyone on that sideline to be able to get in the game and make a contribution. And you saw some of those young guys making contributions, not just in cleanup time or whatever in the fourth quarter. It was throughout the course of the game. Guys like Jace Klug and Ridge Hats that you mentioned, and a couple of those other sophomores, that are going to be really, really good football players and are just kind of getting a taste of their first varsity football experience. So, yeah, it's great because then it lays off our, a lot of our starters, our varsity guys, to stay fresh and shortens up that recovery time that they need before the next week. And it's valuable varsity experience for those younger guys to continue to build and improve for their future down the road. So it's a win-win for everybody, when that can happen in a game.
Last thing for you, we come off the big win against Mankato East. Now we have the home opener against Albert Lea this coming Friday. With a holiday weekend, how does your schedule get compressed a little bit? I mean, you guys look like you're firing on all cylinders anyway. Do you just give them off till Friday and say, hey, show up at 6 p.m., put your pads on?
Yeah, no, wow. We're not good enough to do that. So
yeah.
We wouldn't go that route. But no, we gave them all off this weekend. That's something, again, we value rest and recovery in our program. And we feel like they're going to get more out of that than they are, coming in and working a bunch with us. So we told them, go watch college football, go watch, as much football as you can. Cause that's always great, to learn from those things, but otherwise rest, recover, enjoy time with family. So they had off Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We'll come back Monday later afternoon, like 3-4 o'clock, and do our normal Monday routine, which will be, start with sprint work. And then we'll get into just game plan and prep for Albert Lea. We'll do a little bit. We'll wrap up this Friday's game with some notes and things to clean up and things that went well, and hand out our helmet stickers and awards from our KPIs that we track on the game night. But then it'll be turning over to Albert Lea. We kind of have a 24-hour rule in our program where we'll celebrate it and enjoy the win, and then we got to be on to the next. So same thing for us. We talk about rest and recovery, and same thing for our coaches too, and kind of something that we're trying to do a good job of balancing that for us too, is just kind of stacking stress and stacking rest is kind of the idea, and like a wave kind of a philosophy to it. So like for me, Saturday, I didn't do anything football. Mm-hmm. So I try to make that like family day as much as I can, and just spend time with Aaron and the kids. And then
watching
Sunday,
the Badgers,
take care of business. And then today, Sunday is kind of my work day. So try to get as much rest and recovery and time with family on a Saturday. And then Sunday's my football day, to prep for the week. So, it's good for us mentally, physically. So we're excited and ready to go when we come back on a Monday with everybody together.
Perfect. Before we let everybody go, I think it's story time. I'm glad you mentioned the sprinting. I have a story I plan to tell in our preseason episode 2, but I completely forgot. I'm sure we were running long or something. So I saw that you have dog takes. No, right? I saw you had dog takes for like miles per hour and stuff like that, right? Yes. Like how many miles per hour, hit stick, stuff like that. Anyway,
and we got our wristband miles per hour. Yeah.
Step up. All I see. I got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we got that. I got my 20 mile an hour wristband on here.
Yeah.
So we got the whole.
So I was like, gosh, what does a guy got to do to get one of those? Anyway, you got to run 20 miles an hour, I guess. So anyway, my family takes a road trip to Colorado, Broomfield, Colorado. Our cousin was graduating. We went in an RV. It was 24 hour. I don't even remember. It was a long time sitting there. Anyway, we get there and I'm like itching. I got to work out, right? But I'm not really a runner. Usually I do the elliptical. I don't do sprint. So anyway, I'm like, I got to go out for a run. I got to get loose. I've been sitting there too long. And so I go for a run. I can easily, like, if you told me to go outside and run right now, I think I could run 5 miles and not really be too, I don't know what is red blood cells or something packed up. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm out running. I'm probably about 2 miles into this run, and up ahead, it's kind of a windy course. It's a nice neighborhood. Up ahead, I see one of those, they're movable like police things where they
miles per hour.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. And so I kind of like glance around. It's earlier in the morning, right? So I glance around. I don't see, nobody's around, right? And so it's probably 200 yards up. So I'm jogging up and I'm like, all right, at what point do I need to hit this full speed? And I got my headphones blaring. It's probably thunderstruck going on right now. Yep. And I hit the straightaway right by where the marker is or whatever. Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm like, feed the cats, right? Feed the cats! And I just start sprinting as fast as I can, right? I'm like, as fast as I can, flying by this thing. Pops up 22. 22.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah, I was excited until I saw a car pass me on the opposite side of the road. I didn't know they were there. It was the car it picked up, going much faster than me, let me tell you. And so I was like, gosh, where were those people? Because I was running on the road. I knew I needed to be on the road.
Had a 22-mile-an-hour band for you. We'll take a picture. We had Dylan Scanlon hit it last week in practice beforehand. So we posted that. We boosted that up, posted our social media. We get Adam Peterson with that.
Yeah, right. I thought it was me. It was a car. The car had to be like, what is it? Because I'm like pumping as fast. It's because I
right, and they're probably slowed down, like watching this guy, like, what is he?
Yeah,
is he doing?
Exactly.
To get past you. And,
lucky I didn't run an out route on him or something. I would have ran right into the car. That was my story. Funny. I'm like, I got to work a little bit harder. I don't think it even picked me up. I was moving that slow.
Yeah, it was below the threshold of that it would recognize what you are going past it. No, that's hilarious. That's fun.
Hey, but I'm gonna keep working.
But that adrenaline, that boost you felt like to get past that and see that number. That's what our guys feel when we're measuring that stuff.
So look at all the dog tags I have. None.
Yeah, well, we got to. So we'll have to get your speed so we can convert to your momentum number, your truck stick number. We'll figure that out. We'll get you out on the free lap. We'll do a fly time, which is basically what you're doing. You're building up and then trying to hit that full speed at the kind of that right chunk of time. All right, we'll calculate it. 19 miles an hour is kind of our bottom threshold there. You hit 19 is the first band you get there. So
we're working out all winter.
We'll have to see what we can get you at.
Heard you saw some of our studs from our fantasy draft.
I did.
Speaking of which, we released it on Sunday. I saw Peyton Byrne on Sunday. I saw Hunter Voigt, or maybe it was, I can't remember which order it was in. Maybe it was Hunter Voigt on Sunday, Peyton Byrne on Tuesday, two of Coach Razzle's guys. And now you just saw some of your guys.
And I saw some of my guys. Yeah, I was at Jamie Galing, who was, an outstanding player for us in the 2014 team, was his senior year anyway. He got married over the weekend, and so I was at his reception on Saturday night, which is like that. It's special coaching these guys right now, and there's a ton of great moments that I'll always remember while coaching them. But then it's such a cool thing then to get back together with them after, some of these guys I keep up with a little bit more regularly, like Jordan Johnson and things like that, who's come back and help our program, and Coach Hoth, obviously, who's with us all the time. And then there's some other guys in those classes that I just, they're living their life, and so I just don't get to see them or connect with them as much. And it's so much fun to like come back together and see them for the first time in maybe 5 or 6 years, and be able to like jump right into talking about anything, right? And just kind of that special bond that you build with them, coaching them, and to be able to see them be successful, young adults in the world doing great things, and hear about what they're doing and rehash all of our football stories from back when they were playing. It was a ton of fun to see. It was a lot of the guys from the 2014, 2015 teams that were both, state semifinal teams and section champs, and just a bunch of outstanding men who gave a ton to this program with a lot of success, and guys that, have kind of laid the foundation for where the program is at right now. So it was, so immediately, guys like Garrett Nosbish were there. I mentioned Jordan Johnson was there, Nick Stonke, a couple other guys that had their, we'll just say, had their opinions, strong opinions about who was or wasn't drafted ahead of certain other people.
Yeah.
Not to name names, but some guys would stand basically next to each other and say, "All right, coach, who's better, me or him? Who are you going to pick right now? Who's a better football player?" And I was like, "Geez, you guys, come on, you can't put me on the spot like that." Like, but it was so much fun to rehash that. They had a lot of fun with it. They all wanted to get involved and do a redraft next year. with their own teams, because they all obviously have their own opinion with
we can make it happen.
who can fit where. So that would be fun to get more people involved. They talked about, a couple of other coaches and stuff to get in there too. So it would be cool.
Yeah, definitely something that we put together at the last minute, and it came out really. I've gotten a lot of great feedback. People loved it, especially the ones that have followed the program as long as we've been here. I got to let Coach Mueller get to his job. We got Albert Lea to prepare for Friday night, 7 p.m. It's our home opener. Yeah. If you can't be there, former head coach Aaron Meyer and I will be in the booth calling it on YouTube. I imagine that there's going to be some energy. And I'm excited. 1-0 going in. Any final thoughts before we get you out of here?
No, yeah, excited for the home opener this week. Like I said, Albert Lea, 7 o'clock, Schaefer Field. Jungle's going to be rocking. We got excited for Coach May and Coach Hain, and I helped a little bit. We got some new in-game pump up, hype up videos to play with some of our guys to add into the experience. It's going to be awesome. But just excited that it's parents' night for us too. So we're going to recognize, all the parents that, gave everything for these kids to help them be successful and put them where they're at. So it's going to be a great night. Excited for it. It'll be the first week of school. Is going to be back in session here at the end of this week. So hoping that we'll have a great student section and hopefully a ton of community members there and parents and family and friends ready to support the Tigers.
Absolutely. Great team, great program to support. 7 p.m. at Schaefer Field. Albert Lea Tigers come to town. They're coming off a loss to Faribault. We're coming off a big win over Mankato East. It is the battle of the Tigers in Tiger Nation, our Tiger Nation, that is.
That's right.
Like I said, 7 p.m. If you can't make it, YouTube, Stewartville Activities, I believe is the channel, will be on maybe like 6:45, 6:50. I mean, I could start talking at 5:30 and fill enough material with this outstanding program. That's going to do it here, though. Season number 5, episode number 4, Tuesdays with Mueller, week 1, rehashing Mankato East, the big win in Mankato East. For my co-host, I don't know which side these videos, when they record, I don't know if I have to point this way or this way when it records, but yeah, my co-host right over there, head coach Garrett Mueller. I'm Adam Peterson. Thanks for tuning in. This one is in the books. Until next time, remember that you're never wrong to do the right thing. Take care, Tiger Nation.
Oh, he's going for it. There's it out. Nolan Steer, catch that. Did he get it? Got it. Nolan Steer. End zone. You betcha. Wow. What a play. 0.9 seconds on the clock. Yes. Take off your headphones and see if the down under is exploding right now. Wow, what a catch. What a throw. Free garbage burgers all around. No, I didn't say that. That's not true. Roll snap. They hand it off to Bry. Bounces it outside. He's following Theobald. He's going to cut it up. Smart play. He's still on his feet. There he goes. Yes. 30, 20, 10, 5. Breaks the record. Season rushing record. Season rushing touchdowns. And that puts Stewartville up. Early. Let's go.
Cody Mayer, big time 3-pointer.
Man, Mayer is stepping up big.
Here comes up with that one.
This could be hammer time!
That's it. We've waited for that one for a few nights here. Will Cheddar throws it down.
Cheddar for 3.
Got it!
Got it. Cheddar for 3.
What an answer!
Back to a 12-point Stewartville lead.